you don't know me yet, my name is Carlos Pimentel. I've been part of Mosaic for almost 13 years, I think. Me and my wife, we moved from the beautiful island of Puerto Rico, and we've been here now for a long time. We have, there you go. I mean, that's probably one Puerto Rican in the room who started that clap. Soti and I have 3 beautiful boys, Brooklyn, Leon, and Rio. Leon just turned 7, and he decided to wear a costume for his birthday. He was wearing a dinosaur, one of those like inflatable dinosaurs. It was the cutest thing. It didn't match his personality at all, but it was so great. Have you ever felt like God is trying to grab your attention? Like he's a little bit like bothering you. Like, God, why me? Why? No? I got excited. Like it feels sometimes like you see something on a billboard and then you're driving and the message in the billboard, it's also the same thing that you're listening in the radio. But also it reminds you of a conversation that you had with your mom the day before, or a fight that you had with your girlfriend or your spouse, or something that someone told you. Say, hey, I told you this. And you're like, oh my God, I see it. It's all connected. God is trying to grab my attention. Have that happened to you? Yes? Even if you don't believe in God, I think that is something that happens. It happens to everyone. You start connecting dots. And I feel for us as a community here at Mosaic, over the last couple of months, I feel like God has been trying to grab our attention. There's a current. There is a wave that He's inviting us to be part of. Like a couple months ago, Mariah spoke here and she talks about the miracle territory. And it has sparked, her message, it has sparked so much faith and expectation for what God wants to do in our life, but also for us as a community. And I feel it internally in my own life, in my own decisions, in my own struggles. I feel like God is like pulling me into something. Like He doesn't let me sleep well at night. Like I see all the connection, and at the same time that I feel that He's elevating or calling me to bigger faith, I feel like my troubles and my problems are also getting bigger, which I don't like that. I'm like, God, can you just give me the like big faith and the big dreams without the problems? It will be so fun. I promise you, God, that I have the faith necessary. I promise you. I've done it before. I have it in me. But it feels like there's this correlation between being able to have faith and being able to endure hard things. I was having a conversation with Pastor Erwin and MSC a couple of months ago. We were in Mexico City having this amazing dinner. That's basically everything we do when we go to Mexico City. We just have great dinner. If you've been to Mexico City, you have some of the best food in the world. It's pretty amazing. You eat well and then you get sick. They go together. Great things and problems. They're correlated, I'm telling you. And we're sitting at the table and we're talking about some of the challenges that we're facing as a church and as a team down in Mexico City. And we asked Pastor Erwin, hey, what do you think? What's the likelihood that this will go well? That this will have the results that we're thinking about, that we want? And he said, 0 chances. I was like, title? There you go. 0 chances. So smooth. We practiced that like 5 times. Just kidding. Pastor Erwin is one of the people that I know that has the most faith and the most optimistic people that I ever met. And it was so surprising for me to hear him saying that there was a 0 chance, there was basically no possibilities to see the results that we were expecting. And we asked him like, hey, so why are we here? Why are we doing this? Why are we investing time, money, our thoughts, everything that we're doing? I've been to Mexico City 10 times in the last 3 months. Why are we doing all of this? And he said, because I have seen God do incredible things before with 0 chances. I want to talk to you for a couple minutes about this idea of 0 chances and a lot of faith. If you have ever heard about this chapter in the scripture in Hebrews 11, It's one of my favorite chapters in the scriptures, and he talks a lot about faith. And he says in Hebrews 11, verse 1, it says, now faith brings our hope into reality, and it becomes the foundation needed to acquire the things we long for. It is all the evidence required to prove what's still unseen. This is the testimony of faith. This testimony of faith is what previous generations were commanded for. Now faith brings hope into reality. And I think the first thing that we got to know when we talk about faith is that there's a difference between faith and belief. I think we get it wrong a lot. I don't know about you. We think that faith lives in the same place as the things that we have decided to believe. And they're two completely different worlds. I believe in matcha. Any matcha lover in the house? There you go. It's growing, it's growing. My friends tried to convince me maybe 2 months ago. They're like, hey, you should definitely try matcha because you're very stressed all the time and you move a lot. You need like a little bit more stability and you have to chill. Coffee, 3 coffees a day, I don't think it's doing it for you. I think you should try matcha. And I did it. I tried matcha and it changed me. Now I believe in matcha. I also believe in the Clippers. I also believe that the Beatles, Beatles are one of the best rock bands of all times. I believe that Bad Bunny is one of the best artists ever. My cousin. No. What up, Bad Bunny? Watch out. He might be watching. No. You can believe anything you want. There's a spectrum of possibility of what you can believe in your life, but faith is different. You know why? Because what we just read, it said that faith brings hope into reality. Hope is a verb. You can have hope for something. It's almost saying like hopes live in a place, and our faith is what brings that hope into reality. It's not our beliefs. It's our faith that brings hope into reality. But what I think we do quite often is that we have more faith in our memories than faith in our future. We know because we have evidence of what God has done in our lives. Maybe you're here and you say this many times. So I got that job, God gave me the job. I got the girl, God gave me that. You know, like that. God gave me that opportunity. It was God that gave me that position. We say that a lot. And not saying that that's wrong, but that's previous faith. That's old faith. That lives in a completely different world. That builds you confident in what God can do in your life, but that's not faith. That's old faith. It says that faith brings hopes. And where hopes live? In the future. Hope doesn't live in the past. Hope doesn't live in the moments that God already did a breakthrough for you. That was beautiful. I'm so glad that He's done amazing things for me. But that's in the past. Hopes live in the future, and it's our faith that brings that hope into reality. Hebrews 11, I love it because he has so many stories. It says the word faith about 45 times, which is a lot of faith. Like if trying to convince you, he's like, listen, I want to talk to you about faith. There's 18 stories about incredible people who live beautiful lives. Like they're telling the story over and over again. Like I have so many stories. My kids, they love hearing stories. Especially when it's stories about bad things that happen to dad. They're on a kick right now where they come to me, and Leon, who's 7, Leon comes to me and he's like, Dad, can you tell me that story when you broke your leg? And it's like, yes, Leon, here we go again. You know, yes, one time we were at the beach and then we were doing a human tower and I got to the top. I was in the 4th level and then I fell. My leg got stuck in between 2 people and I broke my leg. It went the other side and it was so painful and it was great. And they're like, Dad, you're so funny. I was like, no, it wasn't funny. I have so many stories of bad things, and I have stories of great things. I have stories of God not coming, or of feeling like God was not coming through. And I have stories of God coming through for me. Like I remember when me and my wife started dating 20 plus years ago. We were committed to each other. We knew we wanted to be together, but we still decided we want to pray and ask God for a confirmation. I was 15, so young, like God, why was I thinking? Where were my parents? Where was mom and dad? I do think about that all the time. My kids, they're almost 10, and I'm like, at 15, you're not falling in love. You'll be fine. You'll be home studying, but it's different time, different country. Anyways, we decided to pray. And in that moment of prayer, I asked God, and I said, God, I want you to give me a confirmation. I want to know if this relationship is for me. And I asked God for something very specific. I said, God, I want Soti to give me a letter tomorrow. And I want the letter to say, I want to have a family with you. Next day, I woke up, go to school. Soti finds me. She gives me an envelope. I open the envelope. There is a pink letter with handwriting on both sides. There was no computers at the time. And the flip side, on the other side, in all bold letters, it said, I want to have a family with you. God answered my prayer, my story. Even when you think about us as a church here at Mosaic, Mosaic is the answered prayer to so many people. To me, I don't know for you. We're here today because God gave a vision to Pastor Erwin and Pastor Kim and their family. They founded this place. Mosaic is known all around the world by a place of faith, of hope, of love and creativity. And there are churches, there are people all around the world that their life looks different because of this place. But if faith lives in the future, if faith is a hope that is not here yet, everything that happened to this point is an old story. God wants to do more things in your life. He wants to do more through us as a community. He has dreams that they're bigger. He has a hope that is bigger than we can imagine right now. He's done great things through Mosaic, but He's not done with Mosaic. In the same way that He's not done with you. Faith brings hope into reality. And if faith took you to the place that you're sitting at right now, can you imagine what hope can bring? If God answered a prayer before, can you imagine the prayers that are waiting for you? It says on Hebrews 11, verse 33, says, their faith fastened unto their promises and pulled them into reality. The same thing. Faith brought their promises and it pulled them into reality. They were able to see what was unseen because faith brought it here. And it said it was faith that shut the mouth of lions, put out the power of raging fire, and caused many to escape certain death by sword. Although weak, their faith imparted power to make them strong. Now listen to this verse. And faith sparked courage within them, and they became mighty warriors in battle. I want to be a warrior. And not just a warrior, I want to be a warrior in battle, in the battlefield. Not just an idea of what I could be. I want to be right at the center of the activity of God. But to be able to do that, you need courage. Does anyone here feels like you need a little bit more courage? Yes? Clap. Yep. I need courage. I need courage for the things that I want to do in my life. I need courage to wake up early in the morning and face my 3 insane children. You need courage to have a good relationship with the person you love the most. You need courage to start building a business. You need courage to go after the things that you want. There is no faith without courage. You can't go anywhere if you don't have courage, if you don't take the step. You're always going to be dreaming about what could it be instead of being where God wants you to be. You're going to get stuck. Does anyone here like overthinks a lot? Raise your hand. Be brave. I am. Wow. Oh, wow. Look around. Look around. You're not alone. You're not by yourself. We all deal with this. The problem with overthinking is that it shows you that you cannot trust your brain. You have to trust your courage. You have to trust your ability to make a move. If not, you're always going to stay behind. You're going to stay stuck. When I think about not having courage and wanting to do things, to me it feels like it's like saying that you want to be a runner or that you are a runner because you have the Nike app in your phone. I'm talking about myself, by the way. I had the Nike running app for maybe 2 years, and I just started running. Or wanting things in your life and not having courage. It's like saying that because you like Tony Robbins, you are an entrepreneur. Or maybe because you watch The Bear or you watch a chef show, you are a chef. You're not. You're just watching the show. You know what I mean? You're listening to things, but you're not building courage. There's this guy, because again, I started running, and it's been super fun. It's super fun. I hated running forever. And now I started running, and it's actually like, it's very helpful for your mental state. Like if you overthink a lot, go run. You'll be so no, I'm not joking. You'll be so surprised what it does to you. So when I go on runs, I listen to podcasts. I'm like paying attention. Like I get to disconnect and listen to different voices in my own life, in my world. I started listening to this guy. His name is Brandon Burchard. I'm probably saying the last name wrong. Anyway, he's an amazing communicator, and he talks a lot about overthinking and how to take steps. And this might sound so simple, because I think a lot of times we put our spiritual life in one place and we put the rest of our life in a different place. Like we disconnect them when they should be a lot more integrated. And a lot of what he talks about is like if you want to have courage, there's simple things that you can do. Wake up early in the morning. Tell your brain, I have control over my life. You know what I mean? If you want to build courage, like make an appointment, go to the gym, go make a plan, ask her out, like do something that feels scary. You know what I mean? Like a lot of time we feel stuck in our life because we don't have this courage to take action, to move into something. There's no way to bring that hope and that future that you have in mind without movement and without courage. For the last couple months, I've been going to Mexico City and working with our team, an incredible team in Mexico City. And 2 weeks ago, on a Monday, we announced that the church was expanding from 1 location to 3 locations. Imagine if you come here today and tomorrow we post online that we are not in Hollywood anymore. We're in Hollywood, I don't know, pick a place. Santa Monica and what's up north? Calabasas. There you go. 3 places. With a day notice on a Monday, we told our team, hey, we're going to go expand to 3 locations. I would love to tell you that we had a building already and that we had a plan. We didn't. It was completely an act of faith, of going against the odd, of doing something that felt so incredibly scary. And the team, they say, let's do it. Found the location. Sunday got there, and on Sunday morning, we got to the first location, and 150 people show up. We get to the second location, and we had low expectation. I have little faith, still have a little faith. And we were expecting to have 100 people, and then church starts, and 150 people show up, and then we look outside, and there's more people waiting to come inside. We were expecting people to not show up, and then there's a line of people waiting outside to come to church, and the team started going crazy. What are we going to do? We started going around the building looking for chairs. I see my good friend Aaron. He's carrying with other people a couch, bringing a couch from the creative room. Like, there was not enough space to fit all the people that were coming to church. And I truly believe that the reason why we were able to see such a beautiful and miracle moment is because of the risk. It's because of the faith that the team was building. It's because they had a hope that didn't make sense. It's because they were looking at the future and they were like, hey, there's not a chance. But even if there's not a chance, we're going to try. The fact that there's not a chance, it doesn't mean that we stop trying. It just means that you're creating more room for God to do something completely unexplainable in your life. Doesn't matter if you can see it or not. It's in that faith. You might not be able to see it, but all the evidence you need is in the act of having hope and bringing that hope, that future, into the present. Faith brings hope into reality. Hope sparks courage. And my last point, courage moves you to action. It's not just about what you think about. It's about what you do. It's about the steps that you take. It says in Hebrews 11, verse 32, it says, and what more could I say to convince you? I just love that line. Stop right there. What else can I tell you to convince you that God has beautiful and incredible plans for you? What else I have to do? What else can I say to convince you that the future that God has for you is brighter, bigger, better than you can ever imagine? What else do I have to do? How else can I convince you to let you know that there is hope stored for you if you choose to step into your future? And what more could I say to convince you? For there's not enough time to tell you of the faith of Gideon, Barak, Samson, Jephthah, David, Samuel, and the prophets. Through their faith's power, they conquered. Say conquered. They conquered kingdoms and they established true justice. And their faith fastened onto their promises and pulled them into reality. Faith moved them to action. Hebrews 11 has so many examples, so many stories, and we don't have time to go through all of them today because it's hot. If it was the winter, I probably just would go and read the whole chapter, but it's not winter. I did the work for you. I just want to tell you, these are the stories of every person on that chapter. And I just want you to pay attention to the verb. I want you to pay attention to the action. Not just the word faith by itself, but the action that comes with the word. It says that faith moved Abel. Faith opens Noah's heart. Faith motivated Abraham. Faith operated powerfully in Abraham. Faith prompted Isaac. Faith inspired Joseph. Faith enabled Moses. Faith steered Moses. Faith opened the way for the Israelites. Faith pulled down Jericho. Faith changed me. What is faith doing for you? Are you keeping faith in the same place as belief and it's not doing anything for you? Are you just thinking, these are the things that I believe, or is faith actually changing who you are? There's a huge difference between a disciple and a crowd. You might be here today. You might be here today, and you see what God is doing from afar. You see it over there. I see God's activity. That's the crowd. The disciples are the people moving with Jesus, who their faith causes them to create change, to bring not just internal change, but to change the world that they're part of. What God wants to do in your life, the power that He wanted to bring to your life, the hope that He wants to bring to you, is extremely, completely correlated to your ability to take action, to move to the future that you long for. You can make a choice. You have a choice. God doesn't condemn the crowd, but He does invite every single person to be a disciple, to be the people who are willing to risk everything for Him. What are we going to do? What are you going to do? What are you going to do about your dreams, about your life? What are we going to do as a church, Mosaic? Like, do you see the environment? Do you see how hard and how difficult and the problems that we experience in our city? The homelessness, the despair, the people who are lost, the people that cannot find a friend. Do you see the problems? Do you see the lack of possibilities? But do you also see the faith that God is calling us to be part of? He doesn't want us just to be part or just come or just be a crowd. He wants you and me to be a disciple, to be right at the center of the activity, of the things that He's doing in this city, in this world. Maybe you're here today and you're in a season that feels tough, that feels impossible, that feels that there's not a chance of coming out of this strong with God's favor and grace over your life. Maybe you're in a season right now that just feels that you can't see it. You can't see the end. And the idea of faith sounds like, I don't need faith. I just need a day. I just need to be able to take a step. I think that when I think about these stories in Hebrews 11, everyone that's mentioned here is known as they're like the champions of the faith. They're like these heroes, these people that we look up to them as like, hey, I want to be on that list. I want to make it there. I want to be that people that have so much faith. But you could easily exchange the word faith with problems. They had a lot of faith, but they also had what felt like something impossible in front of them. They're not on this list just because it was a faith that it was awesome. They're on this list because they faced lions, because they faced a war, they faced things that were coming against them. And just so you know, not everyone made it alive. A lot of them, they didn't even got to see the end results. They didn't even got to, a lot of them, they didn't got to see the promise. But we know of them today because of the type of faith they had. They were courageous. They took action. Think about Abraham. Abraham was 75 when God told him, I want to build a nation from you. You know what happens at 75? Or what doesn't happen at 75? You're not having babies at 75. 0 chances. It didn't make sense. It was not going to happen. How? God, for real? Me? Like, I don't think I got it. I don't have it in me to be able to get that dream and that desire that you put inside of my heart. Abraham was 75. Think about Moses. Moses was born inside Pharaoh's house. Moses was an Israelite who grew up under the person who wanted to destroy and wanted to oppress the people of God. And God uses Moses. He's raised inside Pharaoh's house, and God used him to destroy his kingdom. It made no sense. It made no sense. God, can you use someone else? Please use someone else. Like Moses got it. You know what I mean? He was living in the palace. He had everything he needs. Everything. Every single thing he needed was at his disposal. And God decided to use him to bring freedom to his people. Think about the Israelites in front of the Red Sea. They're in front of the sea. They're running from people. They get in front of the sea. Where are you supposed to go? You can't go anywhere. There's zero chances. And they get in front of the sea. They're about to die. The sea opens and they walk through it. One of my favorites that they mentioned here is Gideon. He's this guy who was leading an army. He had an army of 30,000 people, and God tells him, hey, don't take 30,000 people. It sounds like too much. Just take 300. So he's like, okay, let's do it. You know who the other army had? Almost 150,000 people. 300 against 150,000. Zero chances. There's no way. There's no way that was going to happen. There's no way that they were going to win. They were going against all the odds. It was impossible. And what happened? They won. God used this miraculous way, and the 130 people died. And none of the 300 fighters from Gideon, they went to battle without having to do absolutely anything, just trusting God. Maybe you're in a season right now where it feels that there's not a chance. That's good. Being in chaos and being in a hard time is actually a great thing. What comes out of it is really, really beautiful and really, really powerful. Crises, they help you. They stir something inside of you. They move you to something that you can't see. That if everything was good and everything was fine and everything was said, you wouldn't need God. You wouldn't need Him to bring freedom to you. Sit in it. Sit in it. Give room for God to do something beautiful and different in your life. If you want that future, have hope. Build courage. And then take action. Go after it. Will you bow your heads? If you're in this room and you haven't made a choice of putting your faith in the person of Jesus, I just want to give you a chance in this moment to invite Jesus into your life. It will change absolutely everything. He gave everything He is, everything for you. He put Himself on a cross. He died so that you could have freedom, so that you can risk, so that you can live a better life. Maybe you're here and today for the first time you are ready to take that action, to take that step and invite Jesus into your life. If that's you, I would love to pray for you. It's a simple prayer that says, Jesus, I give you my life. That's it. I would love for you in this moment, right now, no one's watching, just you between you and God. Just say, Jesus, I give you my life. And this is the beginning of a longer conversation you and Him are going to have. Jesus, I give you my life. And if you made that prayer, can you raise your hand? I want to see you with every ounce of courage that you have inside of you. Take an action. Take a step. Say, Jesus, I give you my life. Can I see your hand? Beautiful, beautiful. Anybody else? Jesus, I give you my life. Beautiful, beautiful. Keep it up, keep it up. Don't bring it down yet. Jesus, I give you my life. And let me pray for you. God, I pray in this moment for every man and woman who invited you into their life. God, I pray that today you will wrap them up in your love. You will let them know how much you love them, that you see them, that you have a future for them, that you're not done with them yet, that not because things are hard, it means that you're not with them. God, I pray that you will wrap them up in the beauty that you are, Jesus. And God, thank you for who you are, and thank you for what you're doing in this space, God. You guys can lower your hands, and I pray for the rest of us, Jesus. God, I pray that this community, that this place will be and will continue to be an epicenter of creativity, an epicenter of hope and faith and life. God, I pray that people will be running, coming to this place because of the life that is coming out of this corner. God, I pray that you will use every person in this room, God, that you will give them ideas, dreams, that they will lean into new risk, into new adventure, into things that feel so scary, things that they will feel like there's a zero chance of succeeding, things that feel impossible. And God, I pray that you will surprise them, that you will use the hard moments that they might be in as a moment to show your love, your grace, and your favor over their life. Jesus, we love you so much, and in your name we pray. Amen. Amen.
Come on, Mosaic, can we stand together and thank Pastor Carlos for that incredible message? I wasn't going to do this, but I've watched you as my best friend lead this campus for the last year and a half with an incredible amount of courage, with so much action, with so much sacrifice. You sacrificed time with your family to be with us, to teach us about leadership, to encourage us, to be with us in our tough times. And I am so grateful because I've seen you do so many things with 0% chance. And I'm grateful that we get to learn from someone that actually walks the talk. I'm so grateful for you. All right, before you leave, take a seat real quick. If you gave your life to Jesus, I have a couple of gifts for you. Do you like gifts? Awesome. 2 gifts. 1, a Bible. We have a team in the back that will be holding these Bibles, and it's a gift for them too if you grab one of these Bibles, because they do not want to hold this Bible in the heat. So make sure you grab a Bible. The second gift is people. This book is incredible, but it's not supposed to be read alone. It's not supposed to be lived alone. So when you grab a Bible, make sure you talk to someone. Tell them you gave your life to Jesus. That's the biggest gift I found for my life here at Mosaic, are the incredible humans that are part of this community with us. I want to read a quote from Pastor Carlos today as we're going to talk about giving a little bit. I'm going to invite our giving team forward, because that is the gift that we have as a community, is to give, right? It's such a huge gift to create spaces like this one, like Mexico City, like London, where people can come and find life, find friends, where we get to tackle the important parts and struggles and challenges of this city together. He said, there's a huge difference between being a disciple and a crowd. That hit me. Because there's so many times where I would feel like I was okay being the disciple, but being the crowd. But the disciple chooses to take on the sacrifice so that the crowd can eat, so that the crowd can be restored, so that the crowd can become a community and can find life. So that's why we give here at Mosaic, because 30 years ago, a family looked at this city, looked at this place and said, I see something that is unseen. I see 500 people singing in a room where they're going to find a connection to the God of the universe for the first time, where they're going to lay down everything at the altar, their struggles, their joys, their victories, their defeats, and they're going to do life alone. We're living in that today. We're living in something that had 0% chance of happening because people chose to give. They chose to sacrifice. And the way that we do that is we're going to pass the buckets. We're going to give you a couple of moments to give through the buckets. You're going to put your money or your check inside of an envelope that says generosity. It's right in front of your seat. Or you can scan the QR code on the slide. You can go to mosaic.org/give and give with us. I'm going to give you a couple of minutes to give.